Coming from Volume 5, Volume 6 had a lot of expectations to me, especially when it came down to the fight choreography. However, the premiere of Volume 6 is my favorite in the series. The build up to the fight, getting reacquainted with everyone, the fun laid back vibes, the environment, but most importantly, not only did the premiere episode have a fight, but it was a good one too. And as the volume progressed, it gave us some of the best arcs in the series. The Salem flashback arc, then the Brunswick farm arc. Volume 6 had a great beginning, a great middle, and now we're approaching the end. Funny enough, when I see people bring up Volume 6, they talk about two things: the Lost Fable and their displeasure with the final act, especially the Cordovan fight. Or, so they say. We are not discussing Adam today. I wanted to talk about Team RWBY versus Cordovan, a fight that I think gets shafted way too much, all because of the why it happened and the surrounding subplots, and not the actual fight itself. Now, I'm currently writing this before having done all of the rewatches, and I remember liking this fight, so let's just see how it is. Alright, roll call. RWBY, Oscar, Crow, Rin, Noor, John, and Weiss versus a gigantic mech while Yang and Blake are off on their own. I think this works out pretty well since Yang in this scenario can't do much besides provide logistics support and helping people escape danger. Fight breaks out and Cordovan fires a missile at the ship, which actually looks like it hits them, but RWBY was quick enough to intercept it with her sniper. Now, RWBY has always had good aim, but if she can shoot a missile flying at, well, I would assume high speeds, then this girl should just stay as a reconnaissance sniper. I went back to the Crow vs Tyrion fight, and she was having a hard time keeping up there. Understandably, as the two were moving in such an unpredictable way, and she didn't want to hit Crow. But she got very lucky that Maria just didn't do any type of maneuvers to avoid that missile and just kept going in a straight line, or else RWBY was not making that shot. Cordovan gets pissed and fires at the team, but Weiss puts up a rock to block the shot. At first, I thought she used both rock and ice dust to block that shot, since we've never seen her use this type of dust before, but no, the ice was from Cordovan's cannon. Some of these shots go by really fast, so it's hard to tell who does what on the first viewing. This buys the team some time to figure out a plan, all while Cordovan just lets them. I had to keep Weiss she doesn't just start blasting at them from a distance. RWBY and Weiss go off on their own. Oscar joins Maria because he knows that this competitive situation isn't really suited for him and opts to provide support. Crow agrees and looks for an opening via his bird form, all while Juniper tries to distract Cordovan. I really like how we break into sections and play to our strengths, instead of all of us trying to take on the fight on the ground with Cordovan. I also agree with the choice of having Oscar up high and John staying on the ground. Many people dislike this as Oscar isn't the strategist of the group unlike John, but people forget that all of Osmond's influence is still bleeding into Oscar's brain. All of Osmond's wisdom, intelligence, and knowledge is slowly seeping into Oscar, even if he may not realize it at the time. But it's really reflective in his ability to call out key points. John's semblance, which allows him to boost the aura of others, is incredibly important. Thus, he can be a great benefit to his teammates if he's near them. He can't do that by being 50,000 meters up in the air. While Oscar doesn't have that ability, and considering Oscar isn't built to fight a huge enemy like this, he's better suited up high where he won't get in the way. Besides, what is he supposed to do? Cane the gigantic mech? We break off into a really nice scene. I especially love the shot of Crow emerging from RWBY. RWBY fires a bullet directly at Cordovan and the glass cracks. My guy, if you don't just lock in on the ground and start blasting shots to take out that glass. Like we've seen you mow down Grim with this massive weapon, you can do it again to some glass. There's no way that with everything else going on that she's able to stop you. Cordovan fires off missiles, and I have to point this out, but this is in slow motion, guys. RWBY is fast enough to weave through these missiles. They just slowed it down for the audience so that we can see. My god, I love the environments for Volume 6. Not only do they look really nice, but the cliffside into the ocean makes this fight so much more dynamic from our typical arena, as our characters just have a lot more freedom in how they move. Weiss freezing the cliffside waves as they almost crash so that RWBY can land safely. Their faces and bodies are filled with so much life and emotion. I really like how they're enjoying themselves, but are still aware of the gigantic killing machine in front of them. As RWBY and Weiss approach her, Nora begins distracting Cordovan with her grenades. This prompts her to turn her attention to them, and thankfully Nora, Ren, and John stick to staying at different rocks and not the same one. Although a missile should be more than enough to blow them out, especially when she has an entire barrage.
Surely you knew Atlas was the father of hard light dust.
And this is our first proper introduction to Heart Light Dust. Cordovan says that Atlas is the founder of this dust type, which makes sense as Atlas is just superior in technology to all the other kingdoms. This catches Juniper off guard as she starts blasting them with rocks. Oscar sees this and tries to be helpful by finding where that shield generator is located, while RWBY gives some helpful insight, all while trying not to get crushed by Cordovan. I really like this small detail of RWBY being interrupted by Cordovan, as we're following Crow, and even though we don't see RWBY and Rice in the frame, the fight is still actively going on around us. Typically when we focus on the character, it's like time freezes and everything else in the world stops fighting. But here the fight is very active, as Cordovan doesn't let RWBY and Weiss communicate with their team as we see Crow dive in. Yeah, I got no clue how he just did that. Physics just went out the door. I feel like this mech isn't very durable. Glass cracked and Crow was able to make a gash within it. Nora's grenades are able to wobble it. Like, did Atlas cheap out on the metal? Is this a prototype and they just shipped it off to Cordovan? Like, Grimm have talons and claws. Like, come on now. Weiss creates a sizable thing of ice, which really makes me think of Todoroki when he just nuked the entire stadium in My Hero. Weiss, stop slacking on the ice dust. You could actually be so broken. Oscar comes in clutch as he's starting to adapt to Cordovan's mech while his friends are about to get blasted. There's absolutely no way that Weiss was fast enough to move out of the way with her Grimm. She had to summon it and she had to fly away. Nah, they 100% should have gotten hit by that. I think RWBY would have been fast enough if she used her stimulants to dash away with Weiss, or Weiss could, dilate time and get out of there, but they're standing there. There's a whole 3.5 seconds of them looking at the gun. Anyways, RWBY rails Cordovan's mech with her scythe, and I love when she falls back, it shakes the entire city. It shows how heavy the mech is, so you would think it would be a bit more durable. Ren becomes the main protagonist from Shadow of the Colossus as he sticks his blades into the mech and starts climbing it. Hey, wait. The whole time the shields have been up. What's the point? Why doesn't it just wrap around the entire mech? Wait, it does, because when it breaks, okay. Her shield is just the Heart Light shield from Halo. Heart Light Dust. Heart Light shield. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Ain't no way, this shield is trash. You're telling me the only reason this shield is an issue is because of Nora? Shields are up, but Crow pierced it. Shields are up, but RWBY pierced it. Shields are up, but Ren pierced it. Bro, this mech is actually trash. If this was designed to kill a large Grimm, it's not winning. A big Grimshark just needs to take one chomp out of this and it's over. Remember in the finale when we see that Grimm shoot like a whole laser beam? Yeah, this mech is not surviving that.
Get off of me!
RWBY is actually a top tier instigator. Gold level medalist right here. Waving casually to your ops. Gets away, and that smug look. Bro, who did she learn this from? She's never like this. It's giving Crow and Winter energy. And Weiss, look at her. Ren managed to make his way all the way to Cordovan's back. This man must have some intense arm strength, because my arms would have gotten tired so fast. Then again, he blew off the head of a snake with his bare hands in volume 1, so. Crow and him find the shield generator, which I would assume would have caused a bigger explosion.
You get back here with my man!
Nah, bro willingly left you, Nora. Sorry. Okay, so now that the shields are down, this allows Nora to open fire. Now, if these grenades are enough to stagger this mech, there is no way that Nora's using them during sparring, because any student is getting blown to bits, aura or no aura. Also, when Cordovan was trying to crush RWBY and Weiss, I'm sure Nora could have just fired right into that bit of cracked glass. Okay, maybe I'm going too far. Maybe they don't want to commit murder. Oh.
Whoopsie.
But hey, she got aura. Also, shout out to this Queen Lancer. She's literally carrying half the team on her back. And here we see John coming in clutch as if he didn't amp Nora's aura, she would have been swatted like a fly. I'm telling y'all, John should get some type of rope dart or something with range so that he can channel his semblance into that and then boost somebody's aura from afar. But once John unlocked his semblance, this man really leveled up and got a confidence boost. I really like him. And look at the team's face, they are horrified. Okay, but RWBY and Weiss look so cute. Oh wow, that's a huge cannon that they didn't see get pointed at them. Like, you can hear RWBY gasp once she realizes it. Okay, and back to time not freezing when we focus on the character, you can actually see Cordovan rotate her body while we're watching the shot and aiming for them. It didn't just appear. Girl, you are literally fine. Maria decides to actually lock in and cast an AoE taunt, with her firing a missile and us getting one of the most wonkiest shots in RWBY. Yeah, that missile should have exploded. Weiss, can you help your leader? Oscar lets everyone know how Cordovan's weapon systems work, and this was a really good idea to have RWBY shoot the missile launcher, as Cordovan is not surviving that. RWBY prepares to murder Cordovan, and I'm not a sniper, but sniper bullets, they travel fast, and at that distance, I thought this was going to land. Cordovan fires a huge beam at the ship and it almost kills everyone. I'm really surprised that this ship can still fly, especially to Atlas. It's taken a missile and an indirect beam of electric dust. And that's really the fight. Cordovan doesn't take the talk no jutsu, and RWBY does something incredibly dangerous by shooting right down Cordovan's cannon, like, okay, causing it to take it out of commission as they go off to escape. And one thing that I didn't know was the song choice here. Big Meadow chose such a great track for this fight, as I think it really complements the almost lightheartedness and fun that RWBY is having right now, all while taunting Cordovan. Overall, I know a lot of people weren't too happy with RWBY stealing an Atlas airship, and while this was going on, the fight with Adam was happening as well. But I think this fight really does get shafted, and people don't appreciate how good of a fight this was, especially when you compare it to the final fight in Volume 4, which I thought was just okay. Volume 5 had the maiden fight, and every other fight in the finale just didn't happen, but this was really showcasing us that RWBY can do these larger set pieces. And I think it paves the way for Volume 8's chase scene in the Cinder vs Penny fight. I hope you all enjoyed, and RWBY Fever is finally back.